Good morning. Good morning. Good to see everybody. Good morning, Bob. Good to see you. Stephen was reviewing yesterday's video. Yeah, I wasn't. If anyone missed it yesterday, we did a couple of case studies where I just kind of was like, let's isolate an area where we can look at what the posture was that led up to that trade, because I think that's important as a component. And I thought it was really cool to connect them, and I hope that it made sense to you guys. If you plan on coming to the options foundations course, which starts next week, or watching the recordings, then you're going to want to watch that one. You're going to want to go to the case studies, because I'm going to use those. I've got all the pictures that I took for them all saved and ready to go. So I'm going to use those examples to go back and construct trades around that, right? Like, how would I have done a call option? How would I have done a bull call spread or a bull put spread if it were? So we're going to continue to use those case studies as examples. So I'd recommend you go back and take a look, and it should be helpful. Stephen said, Jeffrey, I didn't check I haven't reconciled my emails yet. I was a little late getting started this morning. I had an issue with the dog. So I was a little late starting. I'll take a look and respond to you this morning. Absolutely. I appreciate that. Futures up nicely. Yes. Right. Looking for some things to come. The bulls. Knowing how to set your strike. Oh, yes. That will be covered in detail, without a doubt. How so, Stephen? You said, is this where you would look at the history of the moves? I might have missed the context, as I missed exactly when that came in. Let me know if you still have that question. All right, let's jump in. Welcome everyone to the Market Watch Group midweek check-in. I am Scott. It is 15 minutes now. It's 11 minutes before the market open. Let's go in. Here's our disclaimers, as always. We were at a creamer, and I had to use the last of the canned whipped cream to put a little creamer in my coffee. It's not good. I want real cream. When setting your strike, would you look at the history to see how the stock has moved in the past? When setting my target, I would look at the history of how that stock has moved in the past. When setting my strike, I'm really looking at, so what we're determining when we're picking our strike is in, at, or out of the money, right? Am I going in the money and buying intrinsic value at the money, close to the strike? Am I going out of the money where it's cheaper, but I'm only buying time? And the answer is it depends. But when options are cheap, that means what part of options are cheap? Well, intrinsic value is empirical. It is what it is. Time value is what will pump up and deflate, with volatility being the lever that's pumping it up or letting the air out, right? So when implied volatility is low, I typically buy out of the money options the majority of the time. And you'll hear people say, well, I've heard if you buy out of the money options, you'll eventually be out of the money. Right? I'm like, nope, just a bad joke. That's just wrong. But I will show you in the options course how you will use a pricing model that would allow you to establish your parameters. What's my stop? What's my target? What's my time frame? So I can build in all the what ifs, and then I can say, what if I did an in the money option? And what we would do is we would control the risk according to our position size. So we would have less contracts under those variables than we would if we put an out of the money option because the loss will be less. You'll be able to buy more contracts. Then what we look at is which one pays me more money. So I think you'll appreciate the process for sure. Half and half. I actually like the flavored creamers. I don't even put sugar. I just put some flavored, like a little dip of that. That's what I like. Like with a little peppermint mocha or a little caramel. Right? Yummy. All right, let's go on. What are we doing today? Opening analysis. We'll look at what's going on as the market opens up. We'll revisit our posture to see. Remember, when we say revisit it, we're really just making it a dynamic process. It shouldn't be like every Sunday we look and that's it, because things are shifting and we get to say, oh, you know what? We said this, but it actually is doing the opposite. And then we have to reevaluate versus we said, oh, here's what we think. And yep, it's confirming it. Great. Now we just need to make sure we get our setups. Well, mindset for open trades. I know there were some trades put on yesterday. How do I know? Because there was an amazing discussion on Discord, talking about the signals, talking about the strikes, exactly what we're hoping that becomes is an exchange of information. So thank you to those who were there and participating and contributing. I wasn't in a position until later to put a comment in, and I was very sad that I wasn't able to because it was a great discussion. And there was a question that was asked and answered on the at the end of the foundations course yesterday. One more thing as a plug: Thursday, there is a foundations course. We technically had the last one in the series yesterday. What is Thursday then? Q&A. It is your time. If nobody shows up with no questions, then I'm gonna take the night off. What I'm hoping is a bunch of you show up and we just pepper questions just one after the other. And the questions will lead to these delightful rabbit holes that we can go down and explore that will open up other concepts. So please attend and bring your questions. Okay. So I know there's open trades. And if you haven't gone and looked at that conversation, go look, go ask a question. If you're about to trade, ask a question. Hey, I'm about to do this. What do you guys think? See if anyone's there. If you want to sound off with somebody, let's make that, let's continue to make that a great resource as we grow as a group. We'll look at the shopping list and explore setups, which I definitely think we'll have more of, and then talk about this week's trading plan progress. Okay, lot to do. Let's jump in. Market's opening in 6 minutes. Let's start here. In the St. Jude. I did a St. Jude walk 62 miles in October fundraiser on my Facebook. I completed the challenge. Raised several $100s for St. Jude's in the meantime. So now it shows up on my but Yahoo, whenever I come in, it betrays whatever I've been doing at the time. The other thing it'll betray me is I'm looking at buying physical bullion, like a bar of silver for my son to try to entice him to invest in something rather than he thinks he invests in Nike Air Jordans and then he wears them. I'm like, dude, if you wear them, they're not an investment. It's just expensive shoes, dummy. Anyways, all right. Let's go. Futures are indeed up, as Bob said, very nicely. S&P is up 0.5%. The Dow is up 0.3. NASDAQ 0.67. Look at our Russell. We called it out. I want you to look around and see when other analyzers will be like, oh, we're seeing a little strength in the Russell. We started talking about like a little surge in the Russell that we're keeping our eye on several weeks ago, right? That adds to the subtle indication of strength and momentum that the market has. But the Russell's still looking pretty strong. Oil's up 1%. Oil can't seem to figure it out. As long as it stays below 80, I'm pretty okay with it. U.S. futures climb amid revived hopes for Fed pivot. I don't know what that means. GDP growth revised up and sharp acceleration. So that might be it right there. 5.2. We were at 4.9, I believe. Is that right? Wednesday the 29th, 4.9. This says 5, but it looks like it actually came in at 5.2. Where did I lose that article there? 5.2. Yeah, definitely an upward revision. Consumer spending rose at 3.6. A downgrade from the previous estimate of 4. Is that right now? I don't see any consumer spending being talked about. Anyways, okay. That's something though. The GDP definitely was strong. Oh, did you guys see? Long live Charlie Munger. 99 years old, rich as can be. Died yesterday, if you didn't notice that. Anyways. Okay. So you got the announcement. Nice. What else do we have going on in our news? Yeah, it's unfortunately, you're probably right. Tesla Cybertruck, top 4 things investors need to know. I'm on the list. I put my $100 deposit down. I'm late probably though. Like it may be a couple years. I'm gonna get that Cybertruck matte black. It's gonna be amazing. My wife thinks I'm ridiculous about that, but oh, okay. Disney. Oh, we'll take a look. Consumer. Disney kind of sits in that combination space between consumer discretionary and communications services. Go down the page to the new battery story. Oh, is there a new battery? Charlie Munger. New battery. Oh. New battery crushes Tesla's tech, unveils a solid state marble. I've heard solid state batteries are better. A new player is emerging as a formidable QuantumScape. Do they make cars or just batteries? Batteries. QuantumScape. Okay, solid state batteries. Triple the energy density of lithium ion. Faster charging time, safer, more sustainable design. Oh, that looks magnificent. Okay, thank you for the flagging that one, Bob. All right, so we already talked about the calendar. So we saw that what we did get was increased GDP, right? More confirmation to the narrative that we have right now. What is our narrative? Bullish. Bullish. This is what we're okay. November 26th. That's what we just did. Okay. Well, so what is our narrative? Bullish here. Let's look at this and just kind of real quickly as the opening range establishes, you can see we did gap up. We said this may be our consolidation and we have to be ready for that, which would confirm today. There were signals yesterday. We talked about that. We'll see them. And I know some of you traded them. What else does that mean? It means that there's good chance that if this holds, there's going to be more signals today. So let me get my watch list ready. And if we are busting out to the upside, that would make this a higher low. And that would give us another 1/4 of a point. So from a short term, our posture would continue to improve. From the long term, it's not likely that we're going to. Look how far we are from this. We're just in this range. It would be very difficult unless you just simply decided that, you know what, I've been calling this a 0.75 and now I decided I actually think it's a 1. Yeah, I've done that before. Certainly. I think I'm right where I need to be with this one. And it's unlikely this changes over the next few weeks, but we'll see. The short term looks like it's already showing improvement. We look at volume, and we don't have any new volume, but we also have now shed any volume on the backside. So we are going to lose these 3 days here, right? We're going to lose these 3 days here. 1, 2, 3. That's when. Oh, no, sorry. We're only going to lose 2 more. Where do I have this one? We're going to lose these 2 days here. So we'll still have this volume day, this volume day, this volume day. So we'll have 3 positive, 0 negative. Yeah, that's a 0.5. So I'll see my volume score rise up. So hopefully you're starting to see how the way we score things is pretty fluid in the way it assesses and allows the score to come. So I'm already looking at being up near a 475. Major market's probably going to stay the same. I don't see the NASDAQ, even with what it's had, giving enough that it's going to bump our score up yet. I think sector rotation, that's probably where it's going to be for a while. VIX, maybe we get another 1/4 of a point at the VIX. Let's take a look at the VIX, and then let's go and look at the range, and let's start looking for some signals this today. So let's go back here. Let's go take a look at the VIX. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really there to score, I don't think, actually. If we get a little lower, then maybe we would give it another knock. What are we at here? A 1? I think I maybe just would leave it. So yeah, I would go, but that's still another 1/2 point. We're up at 475. That's very bullish. That's great. So okay. All right. Let's talk about was there anything else we missed? Whoops, that's not what I wanted. That's the one. Nope. Which window do I want here? That one. Too many windows, too many tabs. That's the story of my life and the internet. Fed watch. We're 2 weeks away. We're back at basically like a 1% chance. So yeah, that is what it is. We're pretty sure that the Fed, right, is done. You can see here, we're in this, right? We're in this November to December transition is right here, moving higher. So what's the expectation? Yeah, that we could move on up all the way until early December. Then a little pause, and then another bullish window, our Santa rally at the end of the year. So I definitely am all hands on deck for bullishness right now. That's how I'm seeing it. All right, let's look at the watch lists. Nope, not that one. Let's get to this one. So, did you take new trades? Bam, look at Apple. What did we say about Apple? We said Apple, it may not give us much. It may only be this. And now what? It's turning out of it. It's giving our signal here. Absolutely 100% a signal. Now, the question is, are you good with it 5 minutes in? I'm not. I need a little more time. I'm gonna just watch the first opening range, and then I'll look to start putting my things on. So the hope is that in those situations, things don't just run away on you, but there is that potential. And if you're worried about that, you might take the trade. But always be thinking about, when is it valid? As long as I'm through the opening range, then I'm going to start thinking, okay, this looks great. This is exactly what we've been looking for. Questions, comments, concerns? Let me know what you think about Apple. Let's keep going. Adobe, on the other hand, never really gave us an opportunity. It's just sort of grinding on up. So I'm going to still look at this as at resistance and needing a pullback, or simply that it just never gave us an opportunity to catch the trade. It did give us the opportunity back here. Didn't do much after that, but it did go higher. It would have been positive, but we'd like to see an actual consolidation show up. Aflac getting closer again, which would mean I would expect AIG and PGR, Progressive, to also show. They move similarly. So you can see, you can hardly tell when I move from Aflac to AIG. Let's move on down and look at PGR. All very, very similar. It's really kind of a take your pick. But what's the similarity? Well, they all seem to be in this flagging mode. We're looking for this thing to come down and turn, this to turn out of this at whatever time it does. And so, yeah, is it setting up? It is. Are we still waiting for a signal, a trigger? We are. But it's good. And we like financials. We like it. Insurance has been a strong one. We've had several trades that we've looked at recently there. AMD, no. Right? AMD we were coming down here, and this was kind of moving up here, and we just sort of said, you know what? It doesn't look right. We don't really like that. So great. What did we say? We said, well, we've got Intel. I saw Intel mentioned on Discord. We've got NVIDIA. Magnificent. So no need to force. APH. No, I don't. I mean, you can see that this has come down a little bit. This is just sort of grinding along there. Howdy, Michael. Good to see you, sir. You missed it earlier. We solved the market. Just completely solved it. You might want to go back and watch the recording. AXP. We didn't. I'm just kidding. We tried. We got close. AXP just looks like it's kind of grinding stronger, higher. We got the train's got to slow down for me to want to jump on it. It's got to give me some opportunity to catch that a little bit. We actually talked about, like, we're like, you know, this could be the consolidation, but that's a tough one to trade, you guys. It's tough for me. I don't know. Like, that's a hard consolidation. But you can see it did right here. It did come down and then come out of it from a momentum standpoint. But if you look at that and you're like, I don't know, that's hard. Yeah, I agree with you. Hard to trade that. I like to see standard 2, 3, 4, well, let's say 3 to 5 day consolidations and then trade out of it. Easier to trade, I think. Boeing, still kind of waiting. BK is looking a lot like AXP, where it's like, we think it's consolidating, but it's just sort of meandering sideways, a little bit listlessly. BX, same kind of a thing, right? We actually had these on our list. Both BX was on my list but that consolidation never gave us much, and then it's just sort of popped out of it. So we're like, if you caught it, well done. If not, yeah, I can see why. Here's one that's doing it as we speak. So if you like the bank, broker, wealth management side of things, here's the Citi consolidation. Here it's coming out of it. And here is the stochastics turning. So we've got Apple. We've got insurance close. We've got Citi. Now we have two good signals coming out of technology, coming out of financials. All right. That's what we're hoping to see here, right? Are there trades available to us? 100% yes. Capital One. We said this one was on our list, and we looked at this. Same kind of a thing where we're wondering, is this the consolidation? Is this turning out of it? So yeah, I think you could have said yes. You could be in the trade and you would be making money with that. Would that be a harder one to kind of take? Yeah, and it's not necessary. You don't need to be regretful that you didn't. There's still signals all around us. Oil just sort of grinding it out still. Costco. Costco was a trade from last week that we saw. There's our stochastics. There's our higher high, pull back, higher low, turn, signal comes in here. Nice. It wasn't huge. I think a couple people took this, right? Wasn't huge, but got there. Good trade. Now what? Well, now what is you've got earnings. It's not that close, but you actually made a bit of a lower high. Maybe you give it the benefit of the doubt and say it's the same high. In order to trade this again, I would absolutely need this to be a higher low. And then I could sort of think maybe this is an ascending triangle pattern and that we could still see this breakout. So yeah, I would still say there's a viable opportunity here. This one's a little further out though, maybe 4 to 6 days, just barely getting started. Copart, industrial. It definitely seems like it's hit something here. I would say anywhere through here is a zone that I would be interested. If it gets below that zone, then my problem becomes that I see it less as a pullback and more as a sell-off, right? Up in that range, it's a pullback. Down in this range, it's a sell-off for me. And I'm thinking, nah, I think I would wait. CrowdStrike. Oh, look at those earnings. CrowdStrike. It's helping if you like the sector. We did get a signal in another area on that sector, and I know some people took that signal as well as myself. You know, I love that stock, PLTR. CrowdStrike. Not much we could have done with that. We avoided it with the earnings. Earnings were good. Okay. Oh, here's a tough one for you. Entering a calendar on Crowd. Okay, there you go. Very nice. Here is DHI. The stochastics is turning. The price is higher by 0.71, but you have a red candle. That can be a hard one for entry sometimes. So this one's iffy. We'll talk about it, or we'll at least keep our eye on it. I would put it on the list. DIA. DIA looks overbought, pushing up against some resistance. Okay. EA at resistance would need a pullback. Fastenal. This is another of our industrials. Got to new highs. It's now consolidating. Where's the consolidation valid? For me, anywhere above 59. This is my last low, around right here, 58, 58 and a half. So it's not what I wanted. So where's the consolidation valid? I would say from right here, maybe not quite that long, but yeah, somewhere in this area. And if it turns out of that, if it starts to turn here, great. This is on the list. Now, where are we? Now we have technology. Now we have financials. DHI was, consumer discretionary, but kind of sits in that industrial consumer discretionary space. But now we have an actual industrial. There's that breadth that we've been talking about. Gold overextended. Look at gold moving higher. Gold and silver prices making me pay more to buy my son a bar of silver for Christmas. Come on. Google. Oh, Google. Google, which means probably Meta as well. Do we think this is a valid break of the flag? Yeah, as of now. As of now, this one you might wait to see if it holds up and doesn't fall back into the flag. Wait a little longer, but valid if we see this starting to happen. So I'm sure we'll see Meta. Oh, actually, I'm wrong. Meta's still down 65. So there you go. We can kind of see the comparison and the contrast between the two. Gap still just pushing higher. My goodness, Gap. So strong. Home Depot continues to push higher. Those are a couple consumer discretionaries waiting for consolidations, though. We may want to revisit our consumer discretionary components next week on Sunday and make sure that we have a good representation of things there. IBM overextended, need a pullback. ICE, financial data and centers, is pulling back. Yeah, I would feel pretty comfortable. I would say anywhere in there looks pretty good. I don't think I'd want it all the way back to here if possible, but this looks like if it comes down and the seller stops selling and then it turns, and we see this turn, then we'll have an opportunity on the list. Not a buy now. So you can see we have some that are giving us signals today. We have some that are still setting up for possibly later in the week. Intel, this was brought up. Absolutely. It's moving today. Hopefully, and Intel could have been one where you start to get anticipatory. One of the things we talked about yesterday was a willingness to be anticipatory. And I said on this trade, it would be a maybe. If it had been this, it would be a yes. On the bearish trade, I said, no way would I anticipate, because the market posture wasn't strong enough in my favor. One of the things we've been talking about is our current posture giving us more license and liberty to jump a little early and say, hey, I'm going to pull the trigger. Right? So this was viable over the last couple of days as it started to find these bigger candles holding this support. Definitely confirmed today. If you were taking this, you would give yourself the ability to that's also, not only is it confirming today, but it's also confirming momentum, which means it's now giving us a growth, a momentum candle rather than a transition. You can see these little candles with shadows, transition, momentum. So I could either set a stop and tighten it, or even set a more aggressive stop and then just look to ride this thing. So yeah, Intel, absolutely a valid signal. Now we're out of software and technology and into chips. But we don't have to settle for Intel. We still have NVIDIA coming our way as well. This is why it's nice to have a big watch list. IWM looks like it could be turning and breaking it. We said this looks like a consolidation. So let me move back to regular style. Now we look like we're breaking out of that consolidation. Valid. JP Morgan, valid. This and Citi look very similar, so you would pick one. I think I like Citi a little better, but I'd have to look at these to see which one I would go with. KKR, not valid. Why? Because it's 4.5%. You missed it. Don't chase that. Lee Auto is new. Pulling back, maybe. It's an interesting one. Added from the where? Consumer discretionary. Meta. Ooh, I don't know. Meta still looks like it's in consolidation. We'll wait and see on that one. Microsoft, this has just been grinding higher as it moves itself into a dominant position in the AI landscape. Lot of long-term potential there. Netflix is in this sideways consolidation. Stochastic's coming down. I would add this to my list of things that still looks pretty good. NVIDIA. Oh, NVIDIA, you look so good. This looks fantastic. Nice pullback. Turning. Look at our signal here. NVIDIA is more expensive, right? NVIDIA is more expensive. I saw an interesting conversation about using at-the-money options to kind of gauge whether something is in someone's price range. I believe Steven showed that. It was an excellent methodology. It is more expensive. Of course it is. Intel's $45 stock. It's going to be much easier to trade options on Intel than it is NVIDIA. They're similar, but this might be a signal you like a little better. This is not going to have the Heikin Ashi. So that's the difference here. Subtle, but different. This is not going to have a Heikin Ashi candle yet. Okay, so I was right, but also wrong in that it's not a shadows on both sides, but it's also not like a big body. So kind of, it's close. I don't know. Both look good. So chips are on the table. NVIDIA, Intel, both viable. I told you, I said, I think we're going to find some signals throughout this week, and it could be multiple windows. Nice to see it. Nice to see it come to fruition. Oh, look at PDD. Did you guys see this one just smash its earnings? It's always hard when you identify a strong stock, you pick the right one, but you can't really trade earnings or hold earnings. It's too much of a crapshoot, and then you find yourself missing some things like this. PGR setting up. Come on. Come to me, PGR or Aflac or AIG, whoever you want to be. PLTR took it yesterday. There's several, right? There's a lot of things that we've seen. This is one that was talked about in the room, right? Press took it. Absolutely. Looks good. Now what? Now looking for follow through. We're already moving into momentum stage. Steve took it. Love it. Okay. Still valid. Right? This would be for me the last day that it would still be valid. If you missed yesterday, you would be looking at it more as a continuation trade, meaning you recognize you missed a tighter entry, but you can at least, either get a stop here and then tighten it, or even go straight to this and be a little more aggressive with how and where you set your stop. PNC gave signals yesterday and an anticipatory signal the day before, right? So PNC, absolutely. We added a regional bank. We said the options weren't great, but they were just barely good enough. So we have a couple of signals that have already fired. Some have already fired, some are firing today, some are still setting up. That's what we would expect as a bullish window, with our posture improving the way it is. This looks fantastic. Oh, I'm very happy about this. Very nice. Anybody else? This has been on our list. This is one that was a little bit ahead of the other financials, and could have been traded Monday or Tuesday, either day. Certainly valid. Would I still take this one today? This one's a little bit later now. I mean, you could still look at it, and you could look at it if you did this here with this stop. Now, we talk about measuring, right? And so there's this move from here to here. That was, we'll call it 110 to 114. So we'll call that 14 points. And we'll say from here to here, that was about 118 to 131. So we'll call that 13 points. And now we're coming from here around 128. 5, 6, 127. We'll say 127. So I would say 140 would be like upward target if we get a similar move like we've gotten. Agreed or not? Let me know. If you're thinking that and you're getting in at 132, you've got 8 points left to go. 8 is what you have. In order for me to get 8, I can't risk any more than 4. I'd really like to risk more like 2.5 to 3 to get those 8. So if I get in at 132 and I set my stop below this candle's at 128.63. So if I put my stop below that a little bit, let's say I put my stop at 128.15, that's below that by about 50 cents. So that's putting my stop right here. I'm risking 4 to get 8. So I have 2 to 1, but no more. That's how I would quantify. It meets the rules, but I think that I could find better somewhere else. How's that? So I think I would pass on that one. I would want at least a 2.5 to 1. Unless there was, now I'm saying that because we've got JP Morgan and Citi setting up for us. They're not regional banks, they're national, but there's still trade opportunities for us. And that's how I would evaluate all of my continuation moves. Would be, now a continuation move could give you more, but these are pretty big moves. I would say we should plan on about that only. What time is it? Oof, I'm going to steal a couple minutes of your time again. I'm sorry. QQQ turning. We said that looks like it's given, that's a signal. That's given a very strong signal. RCL turning, giving a signal. Starbucks. I don't know. It broke the prior low. So was this a pullback or a sell-off? I don't know. That's a tough one. I mean, you could think, hey, you know what? It could come on up, maybe back up here to 105. Would that give us enough? I don't know. We'll watch this and see. Shopify needs to pull back. SMCI turning up. We already took PLTR, or at least I did, and others did. Here's SPY looking bullish today, up 0.7 now. Seeing some follow through. Tesla looking strong. UPS. UNP for a industrial play. Looks like it could be turning. Visa, maybe. We got a lot of stuff. The VIX is low. 12.64. WMB looks overextended. Walmart, you can see why I don't like to trade off of lows. It got to this point and then immediately retreated. XLE, not much there yet. XLF, looking strong on financials, looking strong on industrials. XLP, iffy. XLU, a little more iffy. Yeah, so we see the same breadth. We have signals today. We've had signals show up this week already, and we have more signals developing. Good week. Let's trade it. Keep me posted. Pop into Discord. Talk about what you're doing. I'll try to pop in there as well. Let's informally set. Give me those signals. What's the Ulta? I know Ulta is Ulta. Got to go walk the dog. I understand. Ulta's right on the cusp of earnings, so be careful because they're going to report tomorrow after market. What's the Airbus symbol? I don't know that one. Let's see. Airbus. Is it this one? ADR? EADSY? Or EADSF? It looks like it's an ADR because it's coming from overseas. What does QS look like? Let's take a quick peek. Oh yeah, look at QuantumScape busting out. I would definitely feel too late on this one. It's up 16%. But this is really the first breakout. What I would like to see is on the next consolidation. We see the potential this thing has. It can get up here to 13. So if it gets up and then to 7 and pulls back to 6 as a support, low volume though. Yeah, this is well, let's see, what do we have here? It's about 5 million a day. It's just back here. It was trading, 35 million. So let's watch it. I'm down to watch it. All right. Tomorrow, first 45 minutes to an hour, I'm going to try to pop into Discord. I'm going to send an announcement about it today to invite everybody to join us. So if you want to hang out a little bit, talk about signals, we'll be messaging on Discord tomorrow, first hour of the day. Join me there. Thanks everybody. I got to run. It's good to see you. Have an amazing day. And as always, happy trading.